The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
What's going to be happening in the next couple of days now? I don't know how involved I'll be getting in with them, but how did that come to be?
Yeah. So.
See that? See? But no, really though,
that to me is confounding and confusing in that.
Shows that we now have on our roster is growing, and we have a lot of new shows here. I'm only going to offer solutions on the show. I'm not going to do what everyone else is doing right now and talking about how many people got shot, when it happened, how it happened. We know it's happening. Okay, we're past that now. We don't need to keep pushing that narrative. Welcome everybody to In the Now with Simone Jennifer Smith. So I'm going to be real today. I was here on time today. Today was supposed to be In the Now at noon. It was, but it didn't work out that way. Because this is show business, guys. Things just happen, unfortunately. But I'm going to give you a packed show. My guest is running a little bit late. And because of that, I'm going to try to stretch things out because I want her to get here because I need you guys to hear from this young lady. She's a brilliant young woman, but we're going to get to her. I pray for her safety since she gets here safe. But I want to say happy Friday to everybody. I also want to big up, of course, my production manager, Miss Selena. Big up yourself, Selena. And my researcher. So she hates researching. Hates it. But she did a really good job this week, and I appreciate her. So we have our student researcher, Mrs. Jonelle, here as well in the studio. And today, actually, the first story is something that Selena brought up. Oh, before we even go there, I know you guys are noticing I'm by myself again. That's because Christina was supposed to put together the show today, and she's so lucky. She got off on a technicality. She's actually covering an event. It's called, do you want to throw up the website, actually, Selena? It's the Be Future event. Because I know we were trying to look for a video so you guys could see where she's at. But it's a Be Future event, and I asked for her to write about it for me for the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. So she's so lucky, but that's why I'm here today, and she's not. Did you find something? If not, don't worry. There it is, Be Future, thank you. That's where she is today. It's a tech summit, and she is our technology specialist. So this is where she's at. This is why she's not here. But next week, it's all Christina. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Even actually her guest. So anyhow, let's talk about what we have in store for us today. So we all know that that movie Joker is doing really well. I actually still need to see it. Selena told me that she needs to see it. For those who have seen Joker, it seems like everyone right now has seen Joker, and you can tell by the money that it's made. So right now, Joker has grossed $707 million globally. Can you put up that picture, girl, of this crazy man? I love this picture, though. So I've always said one of the best Jokers was Jack Nicholson. And then, of course, Heath Ledger killed it as Joker. But I'm hearing that Mr. Phoenix did a really good job, too. So, and did you know that Warner Brothers actually, for this film, only spent $62.5 million? So they made a lot of money on this movie, okay? So now I'm hearing that tourists and social media influencers are flooding the Bronx, because I think you guys all remember there's this infamous scene. I don't know about it yet, but it's about a dance scene that he does down a set of stairs. So apparently everyone is like in love. I tried to watch it. It wasn't impressive, so maybe I need to see it on the big screen. I don't know. So there's a set of stairs in the Bronx borough of New York and has been getting a lot of visitors since the release of Joker. which tells the origin story of an iconic Batman villain, Joker. Again, my favorite. Sorry, I'm old school. So, the influx of tourists comes from the film's pivotal scene in which Joker dances as he walks down the staircase. Again, I saw it. I was like, what makes it so pivotal? So, while the attention is all fun and games, real-life High Bridge residents are hoping the newfound spotlight will bring actual change to the community and not just the gentrification that they're seeing. So Mr. Ruben Diaz Jr., who happens to be the borough president, he said that Philly should not be the only city in the United States with famous stairs. He also highlighted that communities could use some financial assistance. So all these people coming in now to see the stairs is actually a really good thing because there's a lot of repairs that need to be done. They do need a lot of help. So Joker, it's interesting. The movie is paying off in other ways that people didn't think it was going to, which is really, really cool. So Joker, if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. I'm going to go see it. I really need to see the Joker. I've always loved him as a villain. When we come back, actually, we're going to leave with, actually, you know what? No. We're going to leave with something, and we're going to discuss it when I come back. There was a story a few weeks ago about a woman who finds herself in a lion pit. So take a look at this.
That's what my dad used to do, though. Like, he was crazy.
You know, you're looking like a meal food.
No, I'm not.
Like a meal food.
No, I'm not.
That's what my dad used to do, though. Like, he was crazy.
You know, you're looking like a meal food.
No, I'm not.
Like a meal food.
No, I'm not. So, welcome back, everybody, to In the Now, my TCN TV network. Actually, Janelle, could you do me a favor? Could you stop this and share on my live feed? I appreciate it, because I don't want it to stop and be talking to me like it did last time. Okay, so when we left, I left you guys with a video of a woman, I'm going to call her one Mad Oman, in a lion's pit. And what I didn't understand, and share, yeah, thank you. What I didn't understand was, in the video, I see people filming her, but at no point do I hear anyone saying to this woman, come out, what are you doing, get out of there. It's almost like they're just waiting for this girl to get nyam up by this lion. I don't understand. They just filmed it. And apparently, the police, I don't know if they've caught her yet. I did some research yesterday to see if they caught her. They still have it. They have her face blasted all over like Fox News and ABC News. But I say to the police, if she's stupid enough to go into a lion thing and get nyam up, is that not like justice? Like, I don't understand. Like, the strongest survive. Edie had to go into lion pits, and she got it alive. So I don't know. But apparently the zoo said it's trespassing and it's endangerment. There's actually a scene that I saw that I thought was hilarious, where a woman was like, I feel sorry for the lion because of that crazy woman. I'm just like, wow. Didn't even care this woman might have gotten eaten. But anyhow, so I'm actually going to play a video for you now about a very strange to us. And I'm going to say only that because it's strange to us because we are very like basic here in North America. We don't really go outside the norms when it comes to our eating and our food and our delicacies. Like the most we'll do is like some escargot, maybe some like squid, some calamari, but nothing as drastic as this.
It's now almost lunchtime here in Poto, a suburb in Brazzaville, the capital city of the Republic of Congo. A family is getting ready to prepare meals. Each is involved in a given task, preparing the daily menu, but also locally known as ngembo in Lingala language. And she says, we start by cutting its wings. Then we burn the hair in the fire. It is cleaned with warm water, then cut into two, and everything is put into the pot, in which we add a little salt, oil, and other ingredients. After 1 hour of cooking, someone has to taste just to be sure if it's delicious enough to be served. It's then served with cooked cassavas. And he says, it's very good. If I had cash, I can dine it every day. At the market, a unit costs 1,500 francs to 2,000 francs. Today I had the chance to serve it. I'm happy that I ate it. To get bat meat, one has to go to the market. Faced with the reluctance from these bat sellers, we had to film in hidden cameras. On the shelves, prices vary between $1 to $2.5. Despite its nutrition.
So travelers in parts of China, Thailand, Guam, and even Australia might run across bats in food markets and restaurants. Yeah. So they'll go to their local grocery store, and this is what you will see. So varieties of fruit bats, including the sizable flying fox bat, are the most popular to eat. When it comes time to cook them up, Pemba Islanders usually roast their bats, and other cultures might toss bits of bat into their soup and stir fry. Again, for some of us, we might be cringing because this is not our cup of tea. But again, different cultures do different things. So in 1976, Calvin W. Schwabe, defender of strange foods, defender of strange foods found all over the world. He offered a simple Simone recipe for bat in his book. It's called Unmentionable Cuisine. So after skinning and disemboweling the bats, Schwabe recommended cutting up the meat and either baking or deep frying it with salt, pepper, and onions. This is a recipe for you guys if anyone's looking into making bats. And culinary amateurs claim that all strange meat tastes like chicken. And it's true. Everyone says that everything tastes like chicken, but not anyone who's eaten bats. They're saying that bat actually has a very strong game flavor. So, Selena, this isn't too bad either. I was talking to Selena earlier saying that some of the pictures that they have of the food, of the bats cooked up, I'm like, why do they leave the teeth, everything in this bat's mouth and have it? Do I have one of those pictures? What is this? Why do you have to make it look so? The one with the wings isn't too bad because it actually looks like chicken wings. You wouldn't really know you're eating bat. But like, yeah, see, that looks all right, right? But they're saying that eating too many of these flying foxes could be dangerous because they eat cycad seeds, and they contain a neurotoxin, which obviously is not good for us if we ingest it. So I thought it was like an interesting thing to see. Again, like we don't ever see things outside our little North American box, so I like to bring it to you, you know. All right, so our last story before I bring on our guest. She's here. She arrived safely. Good. This is actually really, I'm always interested in seeing these stories of hope and inspiration because it does allow me to sometimes take a step back and review my life and say, look, just when you think you have it bad, there's always someone who has it worse and has gone through more and is still, sorry to say, doing even more than I am. So I love his name, Taquarius Ware, is a senior at North High School. And when he was 4 years old, he woke up to his mother's voice yelling to him and trying to guide him through smoke. So his house that he lived in caught on fire. So he made it out the house to safety, but then he went back into the burning house. Although he says he can't really remember, and at 4, you wouldn't, why he was trying to go back in, but now he's kind of realized he was trying to go back in to save his sister. So his mother and 2 siblings made it out, but the fire actually claimed his older sister's life. And he suffered 3rd-degree burns over 55% of his body, with some of the burns going to the bone. So the doctor gave him only a 20% chance of survival. He spent over 4 months in the hospital, and he endured countless surgeries and skin grafts and ended up losing much of his left hand and foot in the fire. So the wonderful thing about this story is he's never let this slow him down. So despite how good he is as a football player, because he is a football player, he didn't play his football in his senior year. He was feeling kind of defeated, and he thought he was being underestimated because of his disability. He felt he'd never really get a shot to be treated fairly as a football player, but then he, I guess, got a sign, which is usually what happens. So in the 5th round of the 2018 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks signed Shaquem Griffin, and he is an amputee with only one hand. So TQ instantly, of course, related to Shaquem's story, and it gave him hope and inspiration that he needed. So he decided he's going to actually continue to play football, which is a good thing because he recently committed to play football at Mesabi Range College next year. So again, whenever you think, these are the type of stories I think that people need to see that there's so many things you can get through in life, so many things. You just have to look outside yourself and sometimes stop being the victim, unfortunately. So when we get back, I shouldn't say unfortunately, fortunately, you have to stop being the victim. When we do get back, I have someone who's not a victim at all. This woman is doing some huge things, and I wish I had more time with her, but it's still okay. I'm probably going to get 20 minutes with her, which is perfect. I'm going to introduce you to this wonderful woman when we get back on In the Now. See you guys soon.
My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance, we will talk about on Point. So do join us.
So hold on. See? It look all caca. Hold on.
We gotta
Hold
set
on.
it up. All right.
Hold on.
The display. Oh,
Yes.
there we go.
Yeah,
Okay. Where am I looking? Camera 2? Okay. Hi, camera 2.
So I have a beautiful young lady who, because I don't know, someone's going to have to work out the postal service thing for me because clearly I got her lost. So this this young lady here she was actually named one of the 6 Black Canadian writers to watch 2018. There's so much on her. Like, it's going to be really hard for me to get everything in, but we're going to try to. And she's the best known for her books, her fiction books, which blend standard English and Caribbean patois, telling Black stories from an often underrepresented point of view. So I would like to introduce to everybody, we don't have her for very long, but I'm going to get as much information for you guys, Miss Nadia Hohn.
That's right.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me here today.
Of course, and you're wearing the perfect colors. Do you see
Yes.
how well the red?
The red, yes.
You see?
I'm just trying to make sure I look okay
You look
here.
good.
Yes. Okay.
I love all this.
Got
See,
the
and I
red
wore the
lipstick
black
on
'cause
too.
Yeah, the red lipstick. She did everything.
I'm
Make sure
move
people,
over
move
here.
it so people can see. Okay. So, young lady, where do I even start with you? So, first of all, I'm going to agree with you. Patois is a language.
It is a language. Yeah.
For people, it's like, it's just a dialect.
Yeah. And Miss Lou, she has poetry about Patois being a language because how we take English. English is a combination of Latin, Greek, Anglo-Saxon, and loan words from other languages. Patois is the same, right? So we speak English. Why not Patois?
And you embraced this at a very young age. So tell us, because I want to kind of go through the steps. I wanted to show people your layers of success, how it's come for
thank you.
Talk to us about growing up in a Jamaican household, how that influenced you.
Well, I can't speak for everybody. This is my experience. I grew up in a household. My parents have been in Canada since the early 70s. And I had not visited Jamaica until I was 20. And most of my relatives live in the U.S. So in some ways, my introduction to Jamaica was much later, actually physically being there. But growing up, I always had a love of Jamaican things. And, we grew up eating, drinking soup on Saturday, and we'd have, rice and peas. Unfortunately, I was allergic to beans for most of my life. What? And that now I can eat it, but I'm allergic to fish too. So I had ackee without the salt fish, all this kind of, deprived. But my parents, Patois wasn't particularly encouraged to be spoken in the home, but we knew where we came from. And I was that kid. I was very proud of my African heritage. I was proud of being Black. I was proud of my Jamaicanness. So it's always something I had an interest in.
Beautiful.
And I would always look for books, anything about the Caribbean, Jamaican, African American, that kind of thing. So it's always something I craved. And at the time, growing up in the 80s and the 90s too, there wasn't a whole lot of books that were for my age group about it. So whenever I found anything, I was just like, oh, yes. Yay.
Yes. So I did a little bit of research on you.
Okay.
And I know that you started writing books at the age of 6.
Yes. That's right. Wow, you did your research.
Well, actually, I'm not going to take it. Look.
My sister's going to kill me. Okay.
Tell her not to kill you.
Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, I don't know where you got these pictures from. Okay, I'm scared now. Oh
this
my
is
gosh.
my job.
Okay, that's what you do.
This is what we do, right?
Okay,
but
well said. Well said.
All credit.
Yeah.
John, I'll kind of help.
Okay.
And I know that when you wrote, tell me how that was when you started to realize this was something you wanted to do, because it started early for you.
It did, but then it was something I did, but it was never it was something I just did. I staple books together, papers together, and draw pictures and try to write a story. I love learning about different countries, and I would be influenced by that. And then as I got older, I went to high school. I started writing for the school paper, but I still didn't think of it as a career yet. And I did an internship at Psychology Today magazine. I still didn't think of it as a career. But I said, okay, I love working with kids and youth. I became a teacher. So years later, I actually was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And this was in 2010. And as I was going through my own healing journey, I started to document it on a blog, and it became an obsession. I was blogging all the time. I was journaling, blogging. I was doing my art, and it was getting me into this routine. And it was like, I love this so much. And also, I started teaching at the Afrocentric Alternative School. Just before the school opened, I had the idea, I started getting ideas. I was looking for books for my classroom that were African diaspora, Caribbean, representing us, representing the kids I'd be teaching. And I actually had to travel far for some of those books. I went to the States as well. But I also began to think about stories. Stories started to come back to me. And then I took a writing class at George Brown College. And then I went to conferences and started meeting writers. And it just became more realistic and more, I could actually see it. It was like, oh yeah, I remember now. I used to love doing this. Oh yeah, this was all I would live for before. Yeah. So I came back to it. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about your love of kind of traveling
and
teaching.
Yes.
So I know you've actually taught in Abu Dhabi.
Yes, and Dubai. Wow, you did your research.
On it. Listen, let me just say, no one is better than a black woman. We're like CIA. If we need to find something,
okay,
we're finding it, right? So
yes.
Tell us about that experience, how that was for you, and how that kind of helped even with your writing.
Well, I've always wanted to live overseas, and I had this opportunity. I went to a Teach Abroad fair. I had a few offers, and I decided to go with this one. It was an interesting time, challenging.
I was gonna say, 'cause I saw a smirk when you said that.
There were some things actually. On my website, I have a link about. I actually did an article about if I were to do this again, what would have to be different.
Yeah.
So during that time, I also it was easy to travel because of the location, and I guess it took me out of my comfort zone. And so while I was there, I was editing. I actually wrote the Harriet Tubman book, which is right there. I actually wrote it out there. I actually joined a writing community in Abu Dhabi, and I created one in Dubai. And I think just being there, seeing Caribbeanness and Blackness outside of North America was different. And, it was cool because I was teaching. There were also a lot of African-American teachers. I would be going to a lot of events. They have amazing parties there, off the hook. But they also, being a writer there, the children's literature scene is not as, it's more new and very influenced by Britain. And so I did get to participate in events there, but I felt like I realized, a lot of stuff is here. And at that time I only had, I think, the 2 or 3 books out. And I was like, this is where my community is, a lot of my writing community. I'd like to go back eventually, but for now, this is home,
This, of course.
Yes.
Of course. So we'll talk about a quick fact about you.
Okay.
And I'm talking about these topics because I want to see how all this is all lent to you becoming who you are and the writer that you are.
Sure.
So the general public may not know this about you, but one year you read almost 170 books.
Okay, yes.
Okay. She's like, what are you going to say?
Oh, okay.
What did you find out?
I'm like, okay, good. The books, we can talk about the books.
No, I don't, girl, I don't go there. I left that.
You're not Jerry Springer.
I am not doing that to you. But I think just hearing that number.
Yeah.
170 books.
Yeah.
Now I know that some of that is children's books.
Yes.
Some of that is young
books.
adult books,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But the fact, how has that helped you with your work?
Oh, well, I have applied to Masters of Fine Arts in Creative Writing, MFA degree programs twice, years ago, and I didn't get in. Years ago, before these books even came along. And I started thinking about, I love going to conferences. I take courses a lot. I'm always learning. And I wonder, is there something I'm missing? I'm gonna say, why don't I just read a lot of books? So Goodreads has these goals, and I'm a nerd for goals. I think, I set the goal 12 the year before, and I read 25, and I said, oh, hey, why didn't I make it 100? And then I just found creative ways to read lots of books. I put them on audiobook. I put them on my Kindle, so when I'm at the gym, I'm running, and I could read. I have them playing on my computer while I'm cream in my skin. I have a book.
True.
So I read, sometimes I'm like right now I'm reading about 3 books. And I'll just also read picture books. So I try to read as much as I can. This year my goal is 200. I'm at 166 right now.
You can do it.
And I just try to read as much as I can. It helps my writing a lot. It helps me understand the kind of the devices that authors are using.
Yes.
And also I'm meeting so many authors now. It's letting me read my peers' work. And so I can say, okay, I read that. Now I understand why that book got this prize or the Giller or this award. I'm creating my own kind of course of study. So when it's time to reapply to an MFA program, I'm thinking about it again. I have like a wealth. I'm coming with more. I have some books now. I have read a lot of work, and I'm also more current with what's going on in the publishing industry because it's important. This is an art, but it's also a business.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more business.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this book here.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you guys about some of the awards because she's really doubting herself right now. She has like 90 awards. No. I don't know how she has time for all of these. She reads. She has as many awards as she does books in the year that she reads. Like she has so many achievements. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Nadia. And for those authors out here, again, I'm allowing this lady is spilling. You have to listen. It may
spilling
look different.
the water, not the tea, but the water.
No, she's spilling her guts. She's letting you guys know you can be successful in writing. We'll see you guys soon on In the Now.
See you soon.
Louise Bennett loved words. She played with them, she ate them up for breakfast, served with roasted breadfruit, ackee and saltfish. She swallowed each word whole.
Miss Lou was a cultural ambassador of Jamaica. She was a playwright, a TV show host, a radio personality, a poet, a writer. Miss Lou was an important figure because she was one of the first people to take the Jamaican spoken language, that is Patois, and create a space for it and to celebrate it and to put it into the forefront at a time where people, many people were ashamed of the language. September 2019 is very important because on the 7th, in 1919, Louise Bennett Coverley was born. This year marks her 100th anniversary. I learned about Miss Lou when I was about 10 years old, and that became a source of inspiration for me. There's not very much written about Miss Lou's life. I really wanted to hone in on that moment when I think the magic started for Miss Lou, when she had that aha that she had this talent and that she had this gift that can be shared with the world.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to In the Now. I'm with Nadia. We don't have her for too much longer, but I do want you, I'm going to just let you guys know about a few of her books that have gotten some awards, and I do have some pictures and close-ups for you guys. So Malika's Costume, not this one. Not this one. This is, actually, hold that up for a second. Stay there, stay there. I'm going to tell you what this is. So this is, it was a poem that she did in this, T. Griots. It's an anthology of Toronto's Black storytellers.
That's right.
So you did a poem in that.
Yes.
There's Malika's Costume, which she has won tons of awards for. I can't go through all those right now because I do want her to speak about her latest book. And then the Harriet Tubman Freedom Fighter, which you were speaking about earlier, and that's a HarperCollins, and that's 2019. Published
That was
year,
born, actually December 31st, 2018.
2018.
So technically, you're close.
Yeah, on the brinks of 2019.
Yes.
And then the latest is, and see if you can find this picture for the close-up. This is the Likkle Miss Lou.
Oh,
there it is.
And Malika's Winter Carnival.
Yes, it's Malika, not Malika. So Malika's Winter Carnival. There we go.
And you know what? I called it Malika for the longest time, and then when I lived in the Middle East, it's actually Malika. So I took that. I actually took that pronunciation, but whatever.
No, that's cool though. 'Cause now I know. So it's Malika. They pronounce it Malika.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what's coming up for you in the next little bit, where we can find you, and something you said you read an article today that you're kind of focusing your attention on.
Yes. So the Toronto Star. If you look online, there's an article that they had done a look at all the books published in 2018 to see which groups have been represented, how many books have been by each author. So I was interviewed for that article, and I'm particularly interested about diverse books because I grew up without having that, and I, as a teacher as well, looking for books. It's really important that we have windows, mirrors, and sliding doors, and that comes from her name escapes me. Okay. Yes, so there's a theorist who came up with that, and of course after this is done I'll probably remember her name. And I did meet her last year, but basically we need to have books that kids can see themselves represented, so we can also learn about other cultures, and also so we can be and you know, just understand each other better. So I do also want to see more creators of color, diverse creators, people who can write kids' books, because there's so many topics that can only be written with more voices.
Right.
And that reflects in the activities I take part in. I was on the planning team, am on the planning team for the Fold Festival, which happens in Brampton, but they had a focus on kids' books this year. Okay. So it was wonderful. And we are just wanting to have more diverse stories because we learn so much more about each other, build empathy in kids. And kids also are more engaged when they see things they can relate to, like a book about a Likkle Miss Lou.
Yes, or this Malika in the snow.
Or carnival.
Or in a costume.
Right, that's right.
So I really, really appreciate you coming on. All of her handles are going to be on the YouTube page at the bottom. Wherever you need to find her, I made sure I put everything there.
Okay, perfect.
So they could find you.
Awesome.
Her Twitter's there, her LinkedIn is there, her Facebook is there, and her Instagram. And your website.
Yes, you said Twitter, Instagram. I think you've got it all covered.
Well, put you on it. I want to thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And guys, these books for teachers, I'm a tutor, so these type of things are perfect. Go ahead.
Yes, go to my website, check my events to find out where I'll be next. My tour is almost over. I have a couple more stops. Ajax, Ontario. I'm going to New York and Baltimore in November, and I also travel a lot. So if you want me to come to your community, reach out.
Thank you so much for coming in, lovely. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
guys,
Simone.
Support our authors. She's
Yes.
doing things that we need in the community, guys.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful Friday.
All right, bye. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Walk good.
Walk good.